Well, look who's home. Father Ed came back. Welcome to this edition of Weekly Word. Father Ed Estock.
Brother Dominic.
Deacon Kyle.
And as the deacon just kindly reminded me, we are talking about the 16th week in Ordinary Time. And we have kind of a follow up to last Sunday's gospel text. But more than that, we have the introduction of the theme, if you will, again, of Jesus and God as the shepherds of the flock. And so we thought we might go down that road.
Yeah. And, the gospel talks about how the people were like sheep without a shepherd. And, it shows us that all of us really desire a shepherd to guide us and to love us and to lead us. But what brought those people to that understanding was actually the apostles, those apostles who went out and whetted their appetite. And so I think looking into the world, everyone has that desire, but not everyone recognizes it. People realize that they want fulfillment, but they don't realize that it is in Christ, the Good Shepherd. And so people are going, oh, I'm gonna all this vacation time, this beautiful house, this this extra money, this having my child succeed, that's gonna give me fulfillment. But it is the people who preach the message of Christ allow us to realize, oh no, it is in our God that we find that fulfillment.
Deacon Kyle had a great insight into maybe the apostles' experience. They went out to preach. Jesus sent them. Last week we saw Jesus sent them, and so I want to share that.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking when Jesus sent out the apostles, and of course we hear that they were empowered with the gifts of the Spirit to preach, to heal, to do all these things, and we even hear at the end of last week's gospel that they did these things, that they were able to heal and cure the sick. And when they come back to Jesus, I was kind of thinking, I wonder how they felt. Like, were they jumping with joy? Were they like so excited that they did all these great things, that they had done exactly what Jesus said? Or were they a bit reluctant? Were they feeling like, did we do enough? Did we interact with these people enough? Did we say the right things? But ultimately, we kind of see the fruit of that in the gospel this weekend, when it's not just one or two people that come and follow the apostles back to Jesus, but it's a whole multitude, a whole crowd coming from the towns and villages all around that are thirsting for more.
Right. So we were thinking that this is maybe, especially for those of us, well, who claim to be preachers and have the job to shepherd and to teach, all that kind of stuff, much like the apostles. But then for the whole church, is that how might we, I don't want to say judge, but evaluate the effectiveness of our apostolic mission? And maybe the gospel and Deacon's suggestion is that, are we in fact leading people back to Jesus? So, you can go to a great lecture, or you can go to a great mission, and thousands of people come and all that kind of stuff. But, the Sunday afterwards, there's nobody there. And so you don't want to be too hard. I don't want to be too hard on my efforts, our efforts, or the parish's efforts, or the parishioners. But the fact is that, are we leading people back to Jesus? My young friends here have a word from their seminary thing called pedagogue. That's a Greek word that means we get pedagogy from. That means a manner of teaching. And what does it mean? It means
It's someone who guides another on the path.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we being effective evangelists Well, the answer is that is anybody meeting Jesus through our lives? So you parents, God love you. You know, this is your big job, right? When you bring your children for baptism, I promise to raise the children in the practice of the faith. So you, those of you, if you even have one kid, you have a better track record. If that child has met Jesus and Jesus has made a difference in his life, you have a better track record than I have, because I don't know anybody who's come to Jesus because of something I've done. But you people, well, you have even a certificate. You know, they made their confirmation. They got married in church. They're raising their children in the faith.
Mm.
So this should be encouraging, but we all have to continue to do it.
Yeah. And the idea that again, we're not supposed to be the center of attention when preaching God's message. We're supposed to be leading people to Christ, and so any good teacher, if they're the end all be all, then the person leaves the class and they realize, well, that was a fun class, but the good teacher makes somebody fall in love with history or math or art, and so we are to allow people to fall in love with Christ, just as we hope we are in love with Christ.
Great. Okay.
How we going?
See. Yeah, well, by the way, pray for Deacon and for Chris Gannett. They're on their way to the Eucharistic Congress. So we'll be looking forward to hearing a lot about that in the weeks to come. God bless
Thank you.